The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had worn them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay. In leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference.
The Road Not Taken. Let's break it down. The poem masquerades as a meditation about choice, but the critic William Pritchard suggests that the speaker is admitting that choosing one rather than the other was a matter of impulse, impossible to speak about any more clearly than to say that the road taken had perhaps the better claim. In many ways, the poem becomes about how, through retroactive narrative, the poet turns something as irrational as an impulse into a triumphant, intentional decision. Decisions are nobler than whims, and this reframing is comforting too for the way it suggests that a life unfolds through conscious design. However, as the poem reveals, that design arises out of constructed narratives, not dramatic actions. Having made his choice, the speaker declares, "Oh, I kept the first for another day." The diction up until now has been matter-of-fact, focusing on straightforward descriptions and avoiding figurative language. This line initiates a change. As the speaker shifts from depiction to contemplation, the language becomes more stilted, dramatic, and old-fashioned. This tonal shift subtly illustrates the idea that the concept of choice is, itself, a kind of artifice. The fairy tale-like language also accentuates the way the poem slowly launches into a conjuring trick. Frost liked to warn listeners and readers that you have to be careful of that one. It's a tricky poem, very tricky. Part of its trick is that it enacts what it has previously claimed is impossible. The traveling of two roads at once, the poem's ending refuses to convey a particular emotional meaning. It playfully evades categorizations even as it describes divisions created by choices. Its triumph is that it does travel two emotional trajectories while cohering as a single statement. We cannot tell, ultimately, whether the speaker is pleased with his choice. A sigh can be either contented or regretful. The speaker claims that his decision has made all the difference. But the word difference itself conveys no sense of whether this choice made the speaker's life better or worse. He could, perhaps, be envisioning an alternate version of life, one full of the imagined pleasures the other road would have offered.
Thank you for tuning in to our podcast, The Power Hour with Mean Gene.